Hey, some beautiful souls. Oh, welcome to Soulful Saturdays with Saylor. Around here, we cut through the noise, ditch the fluff, and dive straight into what matters: spiritual wellness, radical self acceptance, and unapologetic soulful living. Each week, I'll bring you truth with a side of sass, reflections that wake you up, and reminders that you are glorious. So whether you're got your journal, your coffee, or that wild messy bun, you are exactly where you need to be. Today at Soulful Saturdays with Saylor, we're talking about intentions for the new year. That's right. I want to welcome us to have a real soulful conversation, because the best gift you can give yourself this season is not another candle. It's not another planner. It's not even another self help book. It's clear intentions, soul led intentions, the kind that doesn't live on a cute page in your notebook, but actually they guide your choices, your energy, your yeses, and your nos. And listen, I know just hearing the phrase new year, new you can make you roll your eyes so hard you can actually see your brain. And you know what I'm talking about. Because for a lot of us, the new year doesn't feel fresh. It feels like a highlight reel of everything we didn't finish, didn't fix, and didn't become yet. It feels like pressure. It feels like comparison. It feels like one more place we're supposed to be better, do more, try harder, and sweetheart, you're not doing that here. No, we're not. This space, this is not about fixing you. This is about honoring you. This is about asking different questions, such as not, where should I change? What should I change about myself? But what do I want to invite into my life? Not what do I need to improve, but what do I want to feel more of? Not who do I need to become, but who am I already becoming? And how do I support her? That's the difference between resolutions and intentions. Resolutions come from your head. Intentions come from your heart. Resolutions sound like a boss. Intentions sound like a best friend. And today I want to help you shift from a year driven by pressure to a year guided by purpose, clarity, and a whole lot of self love. So take a breath with me just for a few seconds. Go ahead and drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw, and let's talk about what it really means to set intentions that feel like home. Because this year doesn't need a new you, it needs a more honest you, a more aligned you, a more gently powerful you. And that is exactly where we're going today. So now that we've taken a breath together, let's be honest. How many times have you sat down at the start of a new year and made that list? You know the one: eat better, lose weight, be more productive, be more patient, be organized, be more spiritual, and be more something. And listen, none of those are bad, but do you feel the energy of that list? It's heavy, it's corrective, it's rooted in the idea that who you are right now is somehow not enough. And that, my friend, mm, is exhausting. I can't tell you how many years I have started with the best intentions. Yes, pun intended. And ended up feeling like I failed myself by February because life happened, because grief happened, because joy happened, because exhaustion happened, because I'm human. And suddenly that shiny list becomes this quiet source of shame, not because I didn't care, but because I cared deeply and didn't know how to build a year that actually supported the woman I was becoming. Maybe you felt that too. Maybe you've started the year feeling hopeful and ended it feeling like you didn't quite live up to your own expectations. Maybe you've used the words like lazy, behind, not disciplined enough, or why can't I just stick with something? If that's you, I want you to hear this clearly. There is nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You were just trying to grow using tools that were designed for pressure, not for presence. Resolutions often come with a place of lack. Intentions come from a place of truth. Resolutions say, I need to be better. Intentions say, I'll finally, I want to be more aligned. Resolutions say, I'll finally fix this. Intentions say, I finally honor this. And that shift, that's everything. Because when your goals come from shame, they burn you out. When your intentions come from love, they bring you home. I remember one year in particular, I had made this beautiful list. It was color coded, it was organized, it was ambitious, it was unrealistic. And somehow around March, I realized I was spending more time feeling bad about what I wasn't doing than feeling proud of what I was. So I stopped. Not because I gave up, but because I finally chose myself. I asked a different question. What do I actually need this year? Not what looks good on paper, not what impresses anyone, not what Instagram would applaud. What would nourish me? What would support my nervous system? What would help me feel more like myself? These questions, well, they changed everything. I stopped changing and chasing improvements and started choosing alignment. I stopped managing my life and started listening to it. I stopped setting goals at my soul and started setting them with my soul. And that's what I want for you. Not a year where you're hustling to become someone else, but a year where you are gently, bravely, beautifully becoming more of who you already are. So if you're sitting there thinking, I'm tried this and it didn't work, I want you to say lovingly, maybe you didn't fail. Maybe the system failed you. And this year, we're doing it differently. This is not about being more impressive. It's about being more intentional, more present, more honest, more you. And in just a minute, I'm going to walk you through a simple, soulful way to set intentions that don't feel heavy. They feel like possibility. And before we do that, I want you to let go of one thing. The idea that you have to become someone new to have a meaningful year. You don't. You just have to listen a little more closely to the woman you already are. And that's where we begin. So, if you're not using pressure, if you're not using shame, if you're not using someone else's version of success to build your year, then what are we using? We're using alignment. We're using awareness. We're using honesty. We're using the quiet wisdom that lives inside you. The part of you that already knows what you need, what you already, what you're already for, and what you're done caring. Because here's the truth, and we don't say it loud enough. Your soul's not confused. Your mind might be noisy, but your soul is clear. An intentional setting is not about forcing direction, it's about listening for it. It's about creating space for your inner voice to finally get the microphone. So instead of asking, what should I do this year? We ask, what is my life asking of me this year? Instead of, what do I need to fix? We ask, what is ready to be honored? And instead of, who do I need to become? We ask, who am I remembering myself to be? Feel the difference. One is a demand, the other is an invitation. And your nervous system knows the difference. When we move from demand, your body tightens. When we move from intention, your body opens. That's how you know you're in alignment. Alignment feels like relief. It feels like exhale. It feels like truth landing gently instead of slamming into you. So here's your pivot. We stop setting goals at ourselves and we start setting intentions with ourselves. We stop treating the new year like a performance review and start treating it like a conversation between you and your heart, between who you've been and who you've becoming, between what you're ready to release and what you're already to receive. And this is where it gets really powerful because when your intentions are aligned, they stop feeling like work. They feel like permission, permission to rest more, permission to speak up more, permission to choose differently, permission to grow in ways you don't look impressive to the world, but feel deeply true to you. This is where we move from self improvement to self honoring, from hustle to harmony, from force to flow, from try harder to listen deeper. And maybe the most radical part of all, we let this year be guided by how we want to feel, not just by what we want to achieve. It's peace, freedom, connection, joy, clarity, vitality, wholeness. Those are not fluffy words, those are powerful directions. Because when we know how you want to feel, you know how to choose. You know what's a yes. You know what's a no. You know what's out of alignment the moment it shows up. So this year isn't about controlling your life. It's about collaborating with it. It's about walking into your days with a little more awareness, a little more kindness, and a whole lot more trust in yourself. So, in the next part, I'm going to share a simple ritual, nothing fancy, nothing overwhelming, just a gentle practice that helps you listen to your heart and choose intentions that actually feel like you, not who you think you should be, but who you truly are and who you are becoming. Okay, so now we're here, not in our heads, not in the pressure, but in the space where your truth actually lives. And this is where I want to share something simple that has changed the way I walk into every year. Not a big production, not something you have to do right, just a ritual, a moment, a conversation with yourself. Because intention setting isn't a task, it's a listening practice. So if you're in a place where you can, soften your body just for a moment. And to do that, you're going to drop your shoulders, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, unclench that jaw, and let your breath slow down. Maybe you need to take a big, deep breath just to clear out all the noise. Now, you don't have to close your eyes, but if you want to, you can. And imagine this, it's just you and you, not the you who has to perform, not the you who has to hold it all together, not the you who has to be strong for everyone else, just the real you, the one who feels, the one who knows, the one who's been walking through this life with courage, even on the day she didn't feel brave. Now ask her this question. What do you need this year? Not what do you want to prove, not what do you want to accomplish for applause, but what do you need to feel more alive, more supported, more whole? And then listen. Not for the loud answer, not for the honest one. It might be you want to listen for the honest one. Yes, you do. Listen for the honest one, and it might be rest. It might be connection. It might be freedom, clarity. It might be softness. It might be joy. There is no wrong answer. Listen and allow the answers to come to you. Then ask a second question. What am I ready to release? What have you been carrying that no longer fits? What? Oh, I want you to ask that second question. What am I ready to release? What have you been carrying that no longer fits? What expectation, role, story, or pattern are you complete with? Maybe it's the need to overgive. Maybe it's the habit of overthinking. Maybe it's the belief that you have to earn your worth. Maybe it's the story that you're behind. Whatever it is, you don't need to analyze it. Just notice it. And then one more question. What am I ready to invite in? Yes. Ask yourself this question. What am I ready to invite in? More peace, more truth, more play, more trust, more courage. Maybe it's love, especially for yourself. This is where intentions are born, not forced, but from awareness, not from fixing, but from listening. So, when I do this at the end of the year, I light a candle, not because it's magical, but because it's a signal to my nervous system. And it tells my nervous system This moment matters. I put on music that makes me feel like myself. I make the space feel gentle, safe, and unrushed. And then I write. It's not a list of goals, it's a list of intentions. And I let the pen flow. And then I take a second look at that list and I want to choose 3 for the year. And I use these as my guiding lights. It could be words, phrases that feel like anchors for my year. Not because life will always go according to plan, but because I want something to come back to when it doesn't. And Lord behold, we know that's going to happen. So I want you to try this too. I want you to take out a journal, a piece of paper, the notes app on your phone, whatever works for you. And I want you to write. I want you to write 3 intentions that feel like yes in your body. And you're going to know that feeling. The 3 intentions that feel like relief. 3 intentions that feel like truth. You don't want them to feel heavy. You don't want it to be performative or impressive. They're just honest, true words or phrases. And maybe it's, I intend to honor my energy. I intend to choose peace when I can. I choose to be kinder to myself. Maybe it's, I intend to speak my truth. I intend to rest without guilt. I intend to create space for joy. There's no gold star in here or with this process. There is no right answer. The only answer it is your intentions and you listening and the feeling that you get when the phrases or words pop up. So there is no right way. It's just your way. And when you're done, place your hand on your heart. Yes, really. And say quietly or out loud, I am willing to walk with these intentions. Not force them, not perfect them. Just walk with them. Let them be companions, not commanders. Let them guide you, not judge you. Let them remind you of who you are when the world gets loud, when life gets messy. You want to put these 3 intentions where you can see them on a regular basis or know when life takes that detour, you're able to pick it up and get yourself grounded again. Because this year doesn't need you to be more disciplined. It needs you to be more devoted. Devoted to your truth, devoted to your well being, devoted to the woman you are becoming. And she's worth listening to always. So now that something subtle has happened, you didn't just think about your year, you felt into it. You didn't set intentions. You connected to them. And that's what the shift, that's the power of the shift. That's where the shift lives. Because intentions don't change your life in big dramatic moments. They change it in a quiet, faithful ones. They show up when you're deciding whether to say yes or no. They show up when you're choosing how to spend your time, your energy, your attention. They show up when something feels off. And when you finally trust yourself enough to listen, intentions become a lens, a way of seeing your life through clarity instead of confusion, through compassion instead of criticism, through truth instead of obligation. And over time, without even noticing, your choices start to change. Not because you're forcing them to, but because you're aligning with yourself. You stop asking, is this what I should do? And you start asking, is this aligned with who I'm becoming? You stop chasing what looks good and you start choosing what feels true. You stop abandoning yourself for approval and start standing with yourself in honesty. That's the transformation. Not a new personality, not a perfect routine, not a curated life, but a deep relationship with yourself. A relationship built on trust instead of pressure, on listening instead of controlling, on honoring instead of fixing. And that relationship, that's what carries you through the year, through the uncertainty, through the change, through the joy and the grief and the growth and the becoming. Your intentions become your steady ground, not because they predict your future, but because they remind you who you are while you're walking into it. And that, my beautiful soul, is how a year becomes meaningful. Not by being perfect, but by being present. Not by doing more, but by being more you. That's what we want for you, especially in this new year. So, as we come to the end of this soulful date together, I want to leave you with this. You don't have to rush into this year. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You don't have to get it all right. You just have to stay in a relationship with yourself. Come back to your intentions when you feel lost. Come back to them when you feel overwhelmed. Come back to them when you feel like you're drifting or doubting or disconnecting. Let them be your soft place to land. And remember, intentions aren't rules, they're reminders. Reminders of what matters to you, reminders of who you are, reminders of how you want to feel in your own life. So step into this year with open hands, not clenched fists, with curiosity, not judgment, with devotion to your truth, not perfection. And if you forget, because you will, because you're human, just begin again. No shame, no drama, no story about how you failed. Just a breath, a moment, a return. You're not behind. You are not broken. You are not late to your own life. You're exactly where you need to be to take the next honest step. And I am so honored to be walking this season with you. This was our Soulful Saturday episode, Intentions for the New Year. Thank you for sharing the Soulful Saturdays with me. And as you move through your week, carry this truth in your heart. You are worthy, you are radiant, and your presence matters. And never forget, stay soulful, stay sassy, stay you. I'll see you next Saturday, beautiful soul. Same time, same vibe, same glorious energy.